Welcome to an introduction to delivering content online. My name is Heather Ryan, and I will be your presenter today. I'm a customer success specialist at D2L, but prior to my time at D2L, I spent 11 years teaching in Seoul, South Korea at an English immersion school. In the last 6 years I was there, I taught grades 4 and 5, and prior to that, I have about 3.5 years experience in kindergarten and some time spent working in after-school programs, tutoring support, and things like that. My time at D2L, I've worked primarily with our K-12 clients, supporting their use of Brightspace. And one of the pieces that we talk about often is how to deliver content in the online environment. And that's what we're going to look at today. Today's agenda will include looking at what Brightspace is, as well as an introduction to the lessons tool, which is where we create and curate all of our course content. During the webinar today, we'll look at how to create a new unit as well as lessons and being able to bring in materials from different sources to help support your teaching practice. Additionally, we'll look at how to post the content to the course homepage. We will be looking at the WYSIWYG editor today. The WYSIWYG editor is what you see is what you get editor that allows us to make our posts a little bit more dynamic. I'm going to show you how you can view your content from a student perspective, as well as talk about some resources that are going to be available to you throughout this time. Just moving forward here, just to clarify a little bit, some terms that are sometimes a little confusing. D2L is the name of our company. Brightspace is the name of our product. So I always like to use the analogy of Apple, Apple being the company, of course, and their product being the iPhone. Inside the iPhone, we have all the apps that we use to do the work for us. And inside Brightspace, we have a variety of tools to help us do the work for us as well. So we'll be looking at a couple of those tools today and providing you lots of resources to be able to dig into so many other options that are available to you inside Brightspace. And then finally, the last piece I'd like to highlight here is the online community space that we have that's called Brightspace Community. Brightspace Community is a wonderful asset to any user. It provides all of our documentation, both written as well as video documentation. There's also a live Let's Chat pod for any support questions that you might need access to. But one of the most unique areas of Brightspace Community is the interactive area where users and D2L experts are able to work together to support each other and help to problem solve or talk about use cases or applications of different tools and how they might be being used. So it's a wonderful place to check out for more learning and development using the platform. I would like to just call out here that we are very, very proud to be the recipient for 2 years in a row of the Cody Award for the best K through grade 12 learning management system. It's a wonderful award for us to receive, and we're very proud of it. So on that note, what we're going to do is I'm going to hop into my demo environment here, and we will have a look at Brightspace. So what we see here is the landing page for an organization or a district. And on this landing page, I can see my nav bar here. This is the list view of the nav bar. So your navigation bar may look a little bit different, and you'll see the alternate view once we enter into the course, where it is icon based instead of a list view, which is what we see here. In my homepage, as a teacher or an educator, I can see my courses widget, which shows me all the courses that I'm registered in. However, if you don't have that visualization showing there, you can find any course that you have by clicking into the waffle here, which is our course selector, and typing in the name of the course, or sometimes it's your name or last name. It really depends on how it's been named by your organization or your district, but you can use the waffle to locate any of those courses there. For our purposes today, we're going to be working inside the Brightspace classroom. So I'm just going to click into that there, and it will take me to my course homepage. So here on this course homepage, you see the navigation bar that is now an icon-based navigation bar. So that's really a customization that is set and created by your organization for you. But again, it's just one of the customizations to help make your work or your virtual environment a little bit more user-friendly sometimes. Today's webinar is going to be working primarily inside the content tool. So if I click into that, it's going to take me to my content area, which has already, as you can see, been an environment that I've started building out some materials in. If I click into a different classroom here, what you can see is what the content tool looks like without anything in it. So this would be the blank course shell that you would be starting out with when you're first creating a classroom. For our purposes today, though, we're going to work inside the Brightspace classroom here that already has some content in it, and we are going to be focusing on a few different areas today. So, just to highlight, here are the units that have been built at the unit modules. And today, to do that, we're going to be working with this beautiful little button here, the new unit button, as well as add existing and creating new. So these two buttons here will be able to help us with our content. I was never an art teacher, so please don't judge me by my wonderful diagrams that I have there. A couple other little things to call out here. I would like to just highlight call out as something to focus on. So what you see around the art box here is this blue rectangle. And what that blue rectangle does is highlights for me where I'm working. So anything that I'm creating now will be created inside the art unit. So if my blue rectangle was down here under math, then anything I was be creating is inside the math unit. So it's just a little visualization to let us know what we're doing. The little arrow or the little triangles here on the sides of these units let me know that there's content that's been built out or lessons that have been built out inside this unit. So if I click out the math unit, I can see that there's been a few different lessons that have been built out here. So there's some content there. But if I look at the daily resources, I can click on it all I want, but there's no arrow there. There's no content inside this unit. These little 8 buttons there just show me that I can drag and drop and reorder the content that I have showing that I have built. So in the event that it wasn't showing the way that I wanted it to or listing the way I wanted it to for my students, I can go ahead and reorder that quite easily. And then the final thing that I have here is the default setting for our units. And that is the hidden setting. So as I'm creating content inside my course, I have the default setting of the content being hidden from students, which means I have the professional judgment of when and how I'm going to release the content to my students. But the reason it's set to hidden is because we realize that your development of a course material may take longer than one chance at it. So it just automatically puts it into kind of that editing mode sort of thing so that you can correct it or update it as you need to. So let's go ahead and dive right in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the very beginning and we're going to click on the add new unit option. So once I click on that, I like to think of this as being the title page. So we're going to build a virtual art unit for our students today. What you see here is the WYSIWYG editor. The WYSIWYG editor will appear in any of our tools that have a text-based input option. So you will see it throughout the platform, and it is, but it does generally just look like this. There is a condensed version that you will see in some tools where maybe you only might need bold, italics, and underline as an option. Or there's the full editor, which is the one that we see here. In our description, we're going to put a description for what the unit is. So you can type this description out, you can use all these editing features to help you, but you could also go ahead and open the Insert Stuff tool, which allows you to do exactly that. You can insert a variety of things into your course content here. The one I want to call out is using the Video Note tool. And Video Note is a tool for us to utilize our webcams to create a video that allows us to engage with our students. So you'll notice that we have up to 30 minutes to make our recording here. And that would be in the event that you wanted to maybe make a lecture or provide some information as a framework that's beyond just some simple instructions. For our purposes here, we're just going to create a quick recording that's going to give instructions to our students, let them know what the unit's about. We can engage with them this way. So once I go ahead and hit next, it takes me to the next page here. And what this page asks me for is some additional information about the video, because video notes are stored inside the platform. So we want to make sure that in the event that we want to reuse them, maybe there's instructions or some details about bus delays or who knows, content there that we want to reuse, we want to put some details here so that we can find it. So I'm just going to call it virtual learning portrait instructions. And we could put some details there if we wanted to, so that if we wanted to be able to locate it, or maybe we had a variety of instructional videos and we wanted to make sure that we knew which was which, that's where the description comes into play. Here for the audio language, what this does is allows us to choose the language that we're speaking in the video, and we can arrange, or we can set it so that it automatically generates closed captioning for that audio. So in the event that you're, in the event that you don't want to do this, you can leave it listed as unknown and not click on the box, or you can choose the language that, again, you were speaking to have those automatically generated for you. Once we click on to next, it gives us the option to preview it if we want to refresh the preview, but we've already seen it, so we're okay. We're just going to go ahead and insert that there. Once I've gone ahead and inserted my instructional video and I'm happy with the way everything looks, I'm going to click save. That'll bring me here to my virtual unit, my virtual art unit. So we'll just pull that up here to the top so it's easy for me to grab. So we've created the first page, the first layer of our organization in our unit, but there's nothing inside it yet. We've created a title page, but not written any content. So now we're going to go back over here. We're going to click on the create new option and we're going to bring that open here. Now I want to create a secondary folder here, a lessons folder to house my material in. So I'm just going to put whatever I want to have that lesson titled as. So maybe we'll just put lesson virtual learning self-portraits. And we would want to give some details here about what that framework is for the assignment and how we want it to look. Some instructions can go in there, but this is just another layer of organization where you can add some details for your students so that they can understand what you're expecting of them. Once we're happy with that, we're going to go ahead and save it. Now again, we've created a unit title as well as a lesson title, and now it's time to create our content. So we're going to check that blue rectangle, make sure that it's around the lesson that we want to start building in, and then we're going to go ahead and come over here to create new. Now you'll notice there's a folder option here, which is just another layer of organization. You can have as many folders as you want. That's totally up to you, or you can skip it altogether. Really depends on how you want your course to be located and how you want it to be detailed. So here I'm going to add, I'm going to call this instructions for my students, and I want to add some materials here to help them. So to start out with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an image. So from here, I'm going to click on the image and I'm going to go to my computer to be able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to upload from my computer, and I want my webinar materials. So we're going to be creating virtual learning portraits directions. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that in. I want to add it to my core or my content. Here I have the ability to add alternative text, which allows screen readers to be able to identify what is the image that's being displayed. So you type in the alternative text there for the screen reader to read it. In the event that you don't want the screen reader to be able to verbalize the content, you can click on that it's decorative, and then the screen readers will ignore it. So I'm going to go ahead and have that in here. I've already used this image, so it's showing that it just needs to be created new. I can drag and drop it so that it's a little bit more space for me to work in, but there is my image that I've created. So I'm just going to go ahead here and I'm going to go back through into the add image here. And from the content, I also want to include a PowerPoint. So I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to bring in my virtual learning content. Oh, skipping ahead there, sorry. No, I want to add in the picture here of my virtual learning content. My fault. And we're going to go ahead and bring that in. So again, here's your screen reader. It's totally up to you if you want to have that added in there. And I'm going to bring in the second piece of visual content here. So I've added two images here with some details with regards to my project, and I want to go ahead and have those added there. I'm going to add just another little horizontal line. And I like to add the lines there just to create a little bit of division between the content that I'm building out. It helps me as well as my students. Now here in the second box here, we have an area called Insert Stuff. And Insert Stuff is an incredible tool that allows us to bring in all kinds of different stuff. So we saw it with the video note here, but we can also do things like bring in YouTube videos, which will allow us to search YouTube for different content and different details that that we want here. So you would be able to bring in a variety of different videos. You can type in anything that you're looking for here, and it will pull that information directly from YouTube for you to be able to add into your course material. So it recognizes the content that you're looking for and helps you to bring that in. You can also use insert links or embed codes if there's other material there that you wanted to include as well. So you can do that. So just to be able to show you here, I've already pulled up a YouTube video. Oh, let's see. Because I had the link, I'm going to just have to pull it in through the insert link option, but it's okay because it will render the YouTube video directly inside my content here and build it directly inside for me. So there's my YouTube video now added to my content, embedded fully into the lesson so that my students don't have to leave or access other areas or other locations on the web, and it keeps them working directly inside the environment. Again, I can do that with other links as well. So if I wanted to pull in some details here from another website, I can bring that in. I can add some context for what the link is. Seagull, the original artist. And I've created a quick link here so they can go and they can reference that that web link so that they can learn more about that artist and find more details there as well. So I'm also able to connect my content here to any other materials that I've previously created inside inside my course. So if I had already created maybe materials in my art my art unit that I wanted to build out and I wanted to add things in there, I could create a quick link to that for reference for them. So that's a great way to bring in other content. Maybe it's a review or maybe it's your next steps, things like that. You can go ahead and do that here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save that here. So now we see that inside our unit, we've created a lesson, and inside our lesson, we've created our instructions page. So the details are all there for my students to reference and to look at and to begin doing that work there. Additionally, I can go ahead to add existing, and I can highlight, or I want to highlight here that I can bring in directly from my Google Drive or my OneDrive. Those are integrated directly into the platform. So you can click onto your Google Drive, which will, once it's logged in, bring that Google Picker up there for you, and then you'd be able to pull in anything that you've previously created that existed in your Google Drive directly into your course materials to support the activities that you're doing. So it would be something that you could pull in from a variety of locations and just build out to be inclusive into the work that you were doing here. So if you've previously created that material, it's very easy to bring it into your environment to continue to have that, that content available to you. When I'm ready and I want to post it to my course homepage, I have to do a couple things here to make sure that that's available. So first thing I want to do is make sure that my course or my unit and my lesson and my instructions are no longer hidden from my students. So again, it's just a simple point and click from it being hidden to it being not hidden. So now it's visual, that eyeball with the cross through it is no longer there, which means that if my students were to log in and click into their content experience, they would now be able to see this material. But if I wanted to push this so that it was more in front of their face and located and found on the course homepage, I can do that very easily by going over here to this options ellipsis and click on that, and it'll give me a drop down menu where I can click on post to course homepage, and it will go ahead and do that automatically for me. And I can use my reduced HTML or WYSIWYG editor here to make it more creative and dynamic. I can add in some little emojis there to make my students feel a little bit more connected. We do know that they're always expecting to see a variety of social media type feeds here. We can choose to have on comments or no comments if we want to for our students. And we can choose to schedule our post for a later time if we wanted to. So we can set the time and date. So if you're a pre-planner, it gives you that ability to kind of plan ahead and make sure that you can save some time as the week progresses, because we all know there's always something that comes up last minute. Or I can go ahead and post now, which is what I'm going to do. And it'll confirm for me that my post is complete. I can go back to my course homepage by clicking on the course title here in the top left corner. And when I come back into my course homepage, the first thing that I'm going to see is anything in activity feed that's been pinned, and then anything that's come through in chronological order. So the paper bag princess here has been pinned to the top of my activity feed, which we could do if you had something that was due maybe that week, or you needed to have a reminder, you wanted to put it right in front of your students' faces. But right underneath it, you can see each individual activity feed post to the homepage. And it shows up in dated and chronological order. So there's that post right there for a link to the content, to the instructions for their assignment that I wanted them to do. And if they click onto that, it'll take them directly into that experience and they'll be able to see that. So again, this is the teacher view for the content, but from the student perspective, it looks a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over here. I want to show you how you can look up a student experience. So if you click on here where you see my name, it would show your respective name if you're whomever is logged into the course. If you click on that as an educator, you'll have the option to view as a student. And what that does is allows you to view through the lens of a generic student. So it won't show you any of the material that a student, like individual students have created or an individual student's experience, but the generic experience for your course. So now I'm viewing as a student. It confirms that here in the top corner that I'm viewing as a student. So if I come down here on my course homepage, I see my activity feed here with any that have been pinned, and then I see as I come down the content that's showing on my activity feed. So as a student, I know that I have to click in here to find or to follow the instructions that are from my teacher. I can also go into the content experience as a student. So maybe I'm working through a variety of different things today. I need some reading to do and whatnot. I can click in here, and what we'll do is it will take me to, it will show in this blue box showing in the banner here, it'll show exactly where I left off. So it allows me to continue and go right back into the content that I was working on in my last session, which is fantastic and streamlines the process for students. Or if I want to work on something different, I can scroll down to the other units that are available in my course, and I can click into them to see what I've completed and what I haven't. It'll expand it and let me know what's done and what's not, and I can revisit that content if I want to, or I can keep working moving forward. Or I can hop in and it'll take me directly into the unit and the lesson that my teacher has prepared for me. So there's the instructions, and then I can continue through the content. There's the lesson. So this is the unit title page. This is the lessons title page. And then I can go into the material that my teachers posted for me. So what you see is that it's very visually enticing. The students have all the content they need right there. Their hot links and their YouTube videos are all built right in that let them continue to do the work inside the environment. And when they're done, back to content, and away they go. So let's just go ahead here and hop back into our agenda. And what we've done today is we've gone through the lessons tool and we've looked at the course content that we needed to create, how to create a new unit and lessons, as well as how to post it to the course homepage, which is using the activity feed. We looked at the WYSIWYG editor and we looked at some editing features, including ways to add in some multimedia pieces. I showed you how to view it from the student perspective, as well as what that perspective looks like in a variety of the different tools. Now, the final piece here is to go through some of those. I'm just going to bump through here, some of those resource pieces. Before I do move into that, though, I'd like to encourage you to give it a try. Try creating a new unit and a lesson. Use that WYSIWYG editor to help you edit the unit and create new information using multimedia features like Video Note. Try adding some photos and a variety of materials, whether it's from your Google Drive or your 365 account, or maybe you're creating and curating materials from other web links or sources as well. You can go ahead and practice posting to the activity feed as the course homepage so that it's right there for your students to be able to check it out as soon as they log in. Give it a try and see how it works for you. And when you're ready, you are more than welcome to dive into any of these following resources that we have available to you. So here we have a variety of reference materials, videos specifically here for assisting you with your development and your practice. A lot of these videos can be very helpful with regards to very specific tools and engaging with them, as well as the 1-minute workflows that kind of give you that idea of the application and the pedagogy in addition to how the tool works. Here, if you are hungry for more and you want to dive into the tools, please go ahead and dig in. What we've done is curated all of the the video tutorials into one spot for you, so you're able to dive in a little easier. What I would recommend that you do is choose one tool at a time to kind of dig in and explore, because it can be very overwhelming. There are plenty of opportunities to dig deep into Brightspace. So I would, again, to avoid being overwhelmed, I would choose one tool, dive into it, explore it, play with it a little bit before you move on to any more. We've organized these here to be based on theme or their application as opposed to user level. So just keep that in mind when you're exploring the content here on the resource page as well. And then finally, we've offered a variety of K-12 educator webinars, and I've gone ahead and linked those recordings here. The recordings actually will have the slide decks available with them as well, so you're able to dive in a little deeper if you would like to do that. And finally, I would just like to thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you found the session valuable and were able to walk away being able to start creating and delivering your content online successfully. Again, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.